So when it comes to Enzo Fernandez and Moses Caicedo, the clubs are asking for astronomical value. 120 million euros and 100 million pounds for Caicedo. Yet Chelsea have an internal solution that they're going to opt for potentially. I've got the story. Number 2, Ziyech 25 million pounds to a Premier League club that's not Newcastle. Christian Pulisic was getting sold before, guess what? He got injured. Malo Gusto is desperate for this move to go through, and I think I understand why his representatives are pushing this move through, because there's something that we know that they don't know. And finally, the biggest one, the biggest thing that we are all going to celebrate right now. Thiago Silva contract. Here we go. Let's get it. Welcome to the Kavkas View, guys, and in today's video we have got a juicy video, one of those juiced up videos, steroids heavy, full of natural stories, but at the same time a little bit of pumped up media hype, left, right and center coming out. So we're gonna break it down nice and simple for every single one of you. We're gonna go in a nice orderly fashion. You already know the timeline of what we're gonna talk about, but before we get to that, I need you lot to do 3 quick things. Number 1, 1,000 likes, you know the drill, do it now because you will forget. Number 2, subscribe to the channel because you are enjoying this. And number 3, in the pinned comment is my Instagram. Go and follow me on the gram. I want to hit 1,000 followers, and more importantly, DM me asking me football related questions and I usually respond. Now, let's get on with the stories. It's a jam pack. These clubs are going crazy. These clubs are absolutely taking us for mugs. And that's the sad reality, and this is what Chelsea need to start accepting. When you have money and everyone knows you have money, they're going to start charging things at a higher premium than we are going to be willing to pay, and number 2, than they're actually worth. Now let's talk about this in reality. Enzo Fernandez was purchased for 15 million euros in August. Moses Caicedo was bought last year for 5 million pounds. All of a sudden now, let's get this straight. Enzo Fernandez release clause is 105 million pounds, and Brighton are telling us, well, if Enzo's 105, Caicedo is 100. This is ridiculous. We are not getting these players, and that's the harsh truth. In this January window, we're not going to get either one of these players because these players are being priced out of moves. Look, the problem with paying abnormal amounts of money for players like Mudryk or any other player, player X, is that when you go after player Y, in this case player Y being Enzo Fernandez or Moses Caicedo, they're like, hold on, you just paid 80 million for him. He's just as good of a talent. You're going to pay 100 million for my guy. And all of a sudden, you can only limit yourself to signing 1 or 2 players at most because your whole kitty goes on one guy. So what am I proposing? And this is my proposal, and I want to hear yours. I thoughts on it. Andre Santos, the player we just signed from Brazil, the player we got from Vasco da Gama, the player that is playing for Brazil at this moment in time in the U20 tournament in South America. He's been shining. He's a box-to-box number 6 profile player, very powerful. Firmino went as far as to say this guy's built for the men's game at the age of 18. You look at him and you're like, why don't we just give him an opportunity? And that's how I'm playing it. We just signed him this January for 10 million euros. I think it's time to give him an opportunity because I'm telling you now, 12 months ago, Enzo Fernandez was worth 15 million euros. That's 4 million euros different. We're just going from a very simple standpoint. Moses Caicedo was 5 million pounds. None of you would have said they're good enough 12 months ago. None of you. People don't become good enough without the opportunity. Let's give Santos a chance. That's the simple way of looking at it. Because paying 100 million for Moses Caicedo is just not worth it. What happens in the summer when we go after Osimhen? Hypothetically, we go after Osimhen. What, 200 mil for a striker? You're crazy. I'm bluffing. We're not having that. I'm sorry. Move on to the next. Some good news, and this is good news for me. Hakim Ziyech looks set to be leaving the club. Sky Sports are reporting that Everton are willing to pay 25 million pounds to take him off our hands. Considering we paid 35, and that was a few years ago, this is a great move for Chelsea. Like, let's not get it twisted. If this move comes through, 3 things are going to happen. Everton get a very good creative player and their new manager is going to be over the moon. Number 2, Chelsea get a great value for money sale because at this moment in time, we couldn't give him away for free. It was literally getting to the point where he's reignited his career. Went to the World Cup, shined, came back. He's been pivotal in our team, and the last 2 wins wouldn't have happened without him. That's how good it's been for us. And now, and this is the interesting, last 2 wins, we didn't beat Liverpool. But what we have to do, and this is it, We need to persuade Hakim to go get a final payday from Everton. Whether he's going to want to do that, I don't know. It's interesting to talk about. But the move is on. The deal is there to be done. So it's something to see. A player that was going to be leaving the club this January, apparently, once we signed Mudryk and Noni, was going to be Mr. Christian Pulisic. But sadly, Christian Pulisic did what Christian Pulisic does best, and that's get injured. Look, counting on Christian Pulisic to stay fit is a near impossible task, and the rumours have it that Chelsea were going to sell him, and this is from Fabrizio Romano, but he got injured and no club wants him. AC Milan have started early negotiations with Chelsea to potentially bring him in the summer. They see the value of the player, they see the player in Serie A shining. I see the player in Serie A shining. Slower league, more spacing behind. He is going to be loving that league. Picks up the ball, attacks aging defenders. He's going to have a great time. Pulisic's time at Chelsea has been hiccuped with lack of starts, multiple injuries here and there, and inconsistency. It's the sad truth, but a lot of you need to accept it. Good player, good potential, but not cut out for Chelsea. A quick update on Malo Gusto and why I think Chelsea are being so avidly active in trying to sign him. Chelsea have submitted another bid. The player has agreed personal terms, and the player would be distraught, L'Equipe says, if the move falls through. He is adamant he wants to join Chelsea. He has his heart set on it. So when it comes to that point, it's basically now Lyon have to make the deal with Chelsea, because the players agreed everything. He's set. He's ready to fly out. Now if Chelsea can agree to deal. We're hearing from Fabrizio Romano that this deal is going to happen. It's a matter of basically agreeing that final principle. But now we need to break it down to why Malo Gusto is going to potentially come and play for Chelsea. Because a lot of people attacked me yesterday when I said, well, he's going to be behind Reece James. Like, a lot of people got very sensitive. And you know what? I don't mind you lot getting sensitive. Get sensitive. Get rattled. It's better for the algorithm. It's better for me. I got a thick skin. All right? I'm not going to get upset at you lot, because I don't take a lot of what people say to me seriously. I'm very easygoing like that, okay? You can say whatever you want. I'll smile. I'll have a nice conversation, nice debate. You swear at me, I'll just ignore your comment. Very simple. Malo Gusto. I think there is a very good chance that Reece James could be moving to the 8 or 6 role. And hear me out. Malo Gusto's people apparently are very happy with the project, and they are sold with the fact that he's going to be getting a lot of opportunity. How could they be sold? They know Reece James exists. Like, Reece James is Mr. Chelsea. I'm sorry. No one is more important to Chelsea than Reece James, all right? Came through the academy, future captain, world-class player, arguably the best in the position in the world, and he's just signed a big contract. He is Mr. Chelsea, right? When you think Chelsea, I want people to think Reece James. That's how much of a talent he is, that's how world-class he is, and that's how he should be. So they are evidently done their due diligence. They know who Reece James is. I think Reece is going to slide into the 8, or Reece is going to slide into that 6. So if we're playing a 4-2-3-1, Reece James next to a Caicedo would be mad. Reece James next to an Enzo Fernandez would be mad. Do you understand what kind of player I'm talking about? Reece has got the passing distribution. I always said Reece doesn't suit a wing-back role because he's just not agile enough. He's too big, too bulky. Yes, he can run. Yes, he's a good athlete, but he's just not nippy enough. And he's not great at taking a man on and beating him for pace. Once he gets his body around him, it's hard to move Reece off the ball. But Reece in the midfield has got the perfect body shape, the perfect physicality to impose himself onto a midfield. He's good on the ball, smart. He's basically very competent with both feet, pot shots from far, passing range on point. What else would you want from a midfielder? I think Chelsea are going to explore Reece James in the midfield in the near future, and that's how they're selling it. And finally, the biggest one of all, and something that we all need to be happy. Thiago Silva looks set to be staying for another year. Listen, Thiago Silva, pound for pound, arguably one of the greatest ever centre-halves to have played in the Premier League. Maybe not in his current iteration, but I mean literally, when you look back at the peak that Thiago Silva ever was, I think he was better than John Terry. I think he's better than Rio Ferdinand ever was. I think he's better than Vidic. He's better than Company. A lot of you are going to try to clip me on this. Thiago Silva is better at his peak than any other Premier League player that's played. It adds centre-back. And that is the key point here. He is that good. He's a generational defender. And the fact that he's re-signing makes me smile. Because Thiago Silva is a player that is still one of our best players. Like, let that sink in. I'm going to be saying he's 39 next year. His wife's going to be saying he's 39. Thiago Silva's 39 years old. We are all going to be saying that every single time and smile. Because at the moment, it is being reported that Thiago's agreed the deal. He just has to discuss it with his family and see what's best for him. For me, Thiago signed the thing and stay, please. We are desperate for you, okay? As much as I love Adeshiel, as much as I love Wesley Fofana, as much as I'm going to love Levi Colwell when he joins and starts playing after his loan, I need experience in this team. And Thiago Silva, watching you play puts a smile on my face because you're something that we don't have much of. World-class potential and talent, all right? You are a GOAT. And we need people like you in our team. So, peeps, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thiago Silva deal is set to be done. So if you made it this far, you best hit that like button because we're aiming for 1,000 likes. Peace out. I'm out.